It's so good to be with you today. Donnelly College is a Catholic institution of higher education that seeks to continue the mission of Jesus Christ in our time by making the love of God tangible in our world. That is the first line of our mission statement. But as I've told all my employees that I've hired since I've been here, because I do have the privilege and honor to interview every finalist for a job here at Donnelly College, that any Christian organization should say something similar in the first line of their mission statement. Because we believe very strongly, as Christians, any baptized person, that person as a Christian is called to be another Christ in the world, to carry on the mission of Jesus in our time and our space. And that mission is to reveal to the world the merciful love of God. You see, love takes, in a world full of sin, love takes the form of mercy. And this year I speak to you about the state of Donnelly College in a year that for Catholics is made special and holy by the proclamation of our Holy Father, Pope Francis, of a holy year of mercy, a jubilee year of mercy, where we emphasize that we have experienced God's love in our lives as mercy, and that those who have experienced such love are called to share and help others by living merciful love day in, day out. And so I tell you that we are trying as best we can to live up to that basic Christian vocation of showing God's merciful love in our time and our age. Specifically, the mission of Donnelly College is to provide education and community services with personal concern for the needs and abilities of each student. I think most institutions of higher learnings, those sponsored by a religious order or a religious congregation or a religious history, or those that are sponsored by the government, would say something similar and should say something similar, because the individual needs of students must always come first. I'm very proud to tell you that in the past year, of all the community colleges in all of the United States of America, about 670 of similar institutions, we've got some four-year degrees, but we get thrown into the way they do the mix in these things with community colleges, as we should, because we're primarily an institution that focuses on that two-year degree. Of all 670 of us around the country, our students told their examiners that their classroom experience at Donnelly College was better than all the rest. We ranked absolutely first in the country on the classroom experience that our students tell people they have. The unfortunate thing for this year is that's a pretty high standard to keep, to be number one, but I hope we're somewhere near that going forward. And last but not least, in our mission statement, we say especially those who might not otherwise be served. Donnelly has from its beginning in 1949 been committed to, first and foremost, be an institution that's accessible to those who might not otherwise be able to go on to higher education. We have from the beginning wanted to be a place that was known to be for those who are first-generation college students. And this past year, 93% of our students were first-generation college students, the first in their families to go on to higher education. And we are being faithful to that mission. But quite frankly, the way I just express it, which is right from our mission statement, isn't the best recruiting tool in the world, though it's true, and it is our mission. So probably in the future, as we rework and rethink some of our founding documents, as we already have, and completely rewriting our board of directors bylaws, we will probably talk more and more about accessibility to higher education rather than saying to those who might otherwise be served. Partly because people on the margin should not be stigmatized. And there is a danger that in our attempt to serve and reach out, that we can continue some of the structures that are there that can make people feel, quite frankly, not first class, but second rate. And there's many things you can say about Donnelly College, but it is not second rate. It's a place that's committed to excellence in everything we do. And you see that in the staff. You see that in the faculty. You see that even in the students who work here as well as going to school here. So we'll be doing a lot, and as we go forward and communicate to the community, we'll talk more and more about how we can better communicate who we are and why we are. When I talk to the students who gather in rooms like this, usually about 25 to 30 at a time for orientations, I talk and I try to summarize what our mission is to them, and I like to do it around three of our values: truth, community, and excellence. I already mentioned excellence, and we try, Donnelly College, to pursue excellence at all times. But we also, as an institution of higher education, committed to a Catholic vision of higher education, we, the staff and faculty and students, seek truth in all things. We believe strongly that there is truth, and the truth is knowable. We are a community of learners. I tell the students that there isn't any of us who are not involved in learning. I can tell you their president is learning a lot. We are involved in learning. We're a community of educators, but we're a community first of learners. And there are just some of us, because we have gray hair perhaps, or because we've been around a little bit longer, or because we've been specially trained, who know a little bit more, who have been at this a little longer. So we can tell the people behind us, here's the way, follow us. Don't go there, that's an intellectual cul-de-sac. I've been down that one, and it won't get you anywhere. We can guide and lead and teach, but we're all together a community of learners seeking the truth and knowing that the truth always remains to some extent a mystery, and that we'll never exhaust the fullness of the disciplines that we have the privilege to teach and to lead. I am teaching a class, and my board chair isn't happy about that, and he's right not to be, but we do many things here. The administrators teach, and the teachers have to administrate because we're a small lot here. And I'm teaching philosophy of nature. My first degree is in physics. I learned a lot about science at the Naval Academy as someone studying physics, but the Naval Academy was really interested in me applying that, mainly to killing people, but that's another story to another day. It's been a long time since I studied physics. Matter of fact, when I dusted off some of my books to prepare for this class I'm teaching this semester, I realized that we have discovered twice as many fundamental particles as we knew existed when I was studying physics back in the 70s. We had theoretically figured out they probably were there, but we hadn't really proved it yet. But now they've been demonstrated, and even in some cases discovered through very clever experimentation. That's in one relatively short lifetime that discipline has changed that much that quickly. And the pace is accelerating. So when we say we seek truth in all things, we recognize that we're never going to stop seeking. But we also recognize that there are things we must share with those that we serve. Because if we don't, it's like a fire within us that would burn through and have to be expressed. Especially, we must tell the truth about how we know and understand God to be. I'm happy to tell you that Donnelly is an incredibly diverse place. About 40%, give or take, a little bit more than 40% of our students are Latino in background. And the vast majority of our Latinos are Catholic, though some come from Protestant backgrounds. About 30% of our students, a little bit more than 30%, are African American. And they come from diverse religious backgrounds, but the majority are Protestant. We have about 10% of our students who are Asian Americans, coming from places like Burma, Nepal, Vietnam. They are of various religions. We have people from the Middle East who are Christian. We have people from the Middle East who are Muslim, who teach here, who go to school here. Matter of fact, I'm proud of the nursing program for many reasons, but one of the things that really impressed me this summer when I went to teach a class there is they had structured the breaks in a long class, one of those long late afternoon classes, around the prayer times for Muslims, so that the Muslim students, devout as they are in the class, could meet their obligations of prayer while attending Donnelly College. We are a diverse lot, and that is a strength of this college. And we will continue to do that. And that leads me to the last value, community. Our community makes us stronger. We believe that we have to build community in all places. I'm very proud to say that over the past year, this room you're in has been used for many, many community activities. We had reflections on the Pope's encyclical on the environment here in this space to serve the community and to teach our students. We had the the Attorney General of the state of Kansas here to speak to our students about how our state works and how our government works. And he brought with him a quill from the Supreme Court that he got while he was arguing a case in front of the Supreme Court of the United States. He spoke of what our Constitution demands of us. We had some lively discussions when we got to the death penalty because I'm on a different side than he is about that. So we had some give and take. We also had the Secretary of Education here to speak about what the future of Kansas looks like as far as what the workforce needs from its educational institutions. And what he told us is that 60% of Kansan citizens in the future are going to need a post-high school education. And right now, I'm doing this one from memory, I think we're only at 38%, if I remember my figures right. Meaning there's a gap, an educational gap, that every institution represented in this room has to be part of bridging that gap. And so we try to build community in all places. Right now, that's a difficult thing to do in the United States. We have to be honest. We're allowing ourselves to be separated. Separated sometimes by race, separated sometimes by class, separated sometimes by religion, separated sometimes by really incidental things, what Aristotle would call accidental things, not things that get to the very substance of who we are in our being and in our person. We at Donnelly believe it's very important to break down those barriers. We're offering to seminarians involved in religious orders the possibility of doing their philosophy here in preparation for theology. I thought this would start so. We have 6 already. In the first year, seminarians taking their philosophy here from 3 different religious orders. And I just found out this afternoon, this is going to be a lot of fun, that at least one of the undergraduate women have signed up for the classes too, so it's going to be interesting to see that dynamic with the seminarians as she challenges them and probably outshines them in the classroom. And that's what we want. We want those courses available for everybody. Melissa Lenos is here, attended the Society for Cinema and Media Studies conference in Atlanta. She's beginning to be not just a local, but a national expert on media studies. You presented at that conference, if I remember right. And she has been nominated by us to be a part of the 2016 Kansas Independent College Association Faculty of Distinction. So Melissa, congratulations. Lisa Stuhofer runs our wonderful Prep Ed. And this is I'm gonna spill the beans. Sorry, Presidents, I'm gonna spill the beans. A big thing that's happening in our society is that more and more students who present themselves for college aren't actually ready for college yet. They need to catch up. And that we call it here Prep Ed. And I've talked to presidents of some of our big land-grant universities throughout the country, and they admit this is a big issue. They don't talk about it as much as we're pretty open about it, because we're very, very good at helping students catch up. Matter of fact, if a student comes here and they're only reading at a junior high level, we can get them caught up in 1 year and to be ready to enter fully into college level work. And if their mathematics skills are only at the pre-algebra level, we can get them up to where they're able to do college level mathematics in 1 year. Tremendous to see what our Prep Ed does. We have taken our English as a Second Language program, which had over the years declined in numbers because both of competition and of need, and we've now incorporated that into our very successful our Prep Ed program. So we're still doing that, but we're doing it in a different way than we've done it in the past, and we're calling it intensive English. But I got to get a huge shout out to Lisa, who presented at the Michael Tiffany Diversity Conference at Pittsburgh State University and at the College Reading and Learning Association in this past year. She talked about culturally conscious literature in the reading classroom for prep ed, and we're getting to be known at being very good at that focus as we try to be sensitive to where our students are coming from so we can help them learn to love to read. So I'm going to give a shout out to our prep ed people. And last but not least, Lisa Poole led a discussion on assessment at the spring conference for the for the Kansas Mathematical Association of 2 years colleges, which was held down in Wichita. Again, it's just an example of some of the things that our faculty and staff are doing to stay at the cutting edge of their profession and to serve the learning community throughout the United States, locally and throughout the United States. Well, there's many more things I could say. Priests are that way. But I want to conclude with just a summary of where I think the college is at. The state of the college, quite frankly, is challenging. It's a challenging time. Donnelly College does not have enough resources. We ask our workers here to do much more than they should have to do. Like I said, our teachers administrate and our administrators teach. Everyone that's here is wearing multiple caps. They're doing more than is reasonable, but fortunately faith goes beyond reason. Our building, while wonderful with a great history, I keep getting told about people who I'm now calling honorary alumni. I keep getting told when I meet people out in town that they were born here. Sometimes they come to visit us and they go up to the floor where they were born. But that says something both of the age of the building and the fact that it was repurposed from a hospital to a college. It's wearing out. It's old, sort of like the president. And it needs major work. Our financial resources can be summed up very quickly. We have too many demands and too few bucks. But we struggle and get by. But it is that. It's a struggle. And it is a challenge. And we need to address that because we need to show everyone that we're going to be around not just today or tomorrow or even 5 years from now, but that we're going to be around for the long haul, because the long haul is what we're in for if we're going to do this wonderful mission. It's also challenging, quite frankly, because, let's be honest, our society right now is getting worse, not better. And we have to be part of the solution, not part of the problem. If we keep yelling at each other, throwing holy hand grenades from our bastions and our basilicas, if we don't learn how to cooperate and see where we share and what we can do together, we're going to be in a world of hurt. Benjamin Franklin, at the beginning of the foundation of America, is reported to have said, we either have to hang together or we're going to hang separately. Well, that was true for the Founding Fathers, who risked their fortune, their fame, their very lives by signing a document that spoke of fundamental rights, of equality and liberty, the pursuit of happiness. We have to find a way to bring those founding principles, not only of our nation, but also of our faith traditions, into play, so that our first response to one another is not the vitriolic hate that you read about every time you check an article on the internet. But how can we work together? How can we see common ground? How can we find a way to bring about a more just and caring society? We're challenged because we live in challenging times. But the Lord did not say it was going to be easy. Matter of fact, He didn't even tell us we're going to be successful. He doesn't demand of us success, thanks be to God, though the Archbishop does demand success. All He asks of us is fidelity, faithfulness. And the one thing I can promise, that Donnelly College, its faculty, its staff, its students, will be faithful to our mission as we pursue the truth, seek excellence in all things, and are committed to building community in all places. Thank you for your attention.